Welcome to Nerderhertz presents the Commodore Amiga. When the Commodore Amiga launched in 1985 with the superior graphics and sound capabilities, how would arcade ports be supported? It took until 1986 for a single one to be released, followed by 3 more in 1987. Let's check out these early Amiga arcade ports to determine if they're any good. First up is Marble Madness, released in the arcades in 1985, and then on the Amiga in 1986 as the very first arcade port. Published by Electronic Arts, Marble Madness is an isometric game where you are tasked to guide a marble through several courses while avoiding obstacles and various enemies to get to the end of the course before time runs out. In the arcade, you control the marble via trackball, which was very intuitive. When ported to the home hardware at the time, most did not have or support a trackball controller, thus relied on either a joystick or a mouse to control the maddening marble. I remember playing and enjoying Marble Madness in the arcade, as it was such a great looking, sounding, and controlling game. Some say the Amiga version of Marble Madness is the best version of this arcade classic. Graphically, this is true, along with the music and sound effects, which closely resemble the arcade. While there seems to be options for a trackball, most will default to the mouse controller due to not having a trackball. Using the mouse to control the marble simply just doesn't feel right, as it is a completely different experience from rolling a trackball around. I'm assuming with a bit of practice one would get used to it. Overall, this is a great arcade port and worthy of your time. Arkanoid was released to the arcades in 1986 by Taito, which single-handedly reinvigorated the ball and paddle game. The Amiga port was released in 1987 and made use of the mouse to control the paddle, whereas the arcade used a dial to accurately control the paddle. For those unfamiliar with the arcade game, it is an Atari breakout clone, but with an additional gameplay elements and level design, with the first being the inclusion of power-ups for your paddle, such as a sticky paddle where the ball sticks to your paddle until released, a power-up that increases the length of your paddle, one that gives it laser power to destroy the above tiles, one that slows down the ball, another one that breaks up the ball into 3 different balls, and a few others. With the goal of the game to hit all of the bricks until they all disappear in order to move on to the next level. Controlling the paddle with the mouse is extremely intuitive and works fantastic. The graphics, music, and sound effects resemble the arcade to near perfection. For me, this is a mind-numbing, boring game, as ball and paddle games simply do not appeal to me. But for those that adore these type of games, this is a fantastic arcade port, also worthy of your time. Rolling Thunder was released in the arcades in Japan in 1986 and eventually in Europe and USA in 1987, which is a run-and-gun style game released by Namco. In the game, you take control of a secret agent who must rescue his female partner from a terrorist group, which was a huge success and of course led to multiple home conversions. With the Commodore Amiga being a computer from the future, one would think it could easily handle a game like Rolling Thunder with ease. Which it should, but developer Tiertech seemed to have struggled with the power of the Amiga and failed miserably. Immediately, the graphics, while decent, fell in comparison to the arcade, and the scrolling of the game is extremely chunky and slow. This simply runs the entire port and makes it unplayable. In short, utter garbage. If you're a fan of this arcade game, then for the love of your sanity, please avoid the Amiga port. SDI, Strategic Defensive Initiative, released internationally in arcades by Sega in 1987. I don't recall this game at all in the arcades, and it seems it was not popular at the time, which probably is the reason why I never played it. Which makes it odd with having ports released on many 8-bit platforms, along with the amazing Commodore Amiga by the publisher Activision. The game is split into two sections, an offensive stage and a defensive stage. With the offensive stage, you are tasked with destroying all the on-screen enemy missiles. In the next stage, you are tasked to protect your homeland from incoming missiles. Then the game simply repeats until you run out of lives. My guess is obtaining the rights to release an arcade port of SDI was extremely cheap in the hopes to obtain some sort of profits from one of the computer platforms. While the music is decent, there really is nothing interesting about this game, as it is simply boring and is not worthy of your time. Overall, the Amiga started off okay, with Marble Madness and Arkanoid showing that near-perfect arcade ports are possible. Did they get any better? Stay tuned for another video in the series. Thank you for watching Nerdahertz Presents the Commodore Amiga.